Hello, everybody. We are getting started here very soon. Usually it takes a second. Well, no, it takes a second from Restream. You guys probably already hear me. Okay, let's see. Let me get the thing here. Copy video URL. Got it.
Congrats, Firehair. I think you are literally the only person in here right now.
Hello, Firehair and Wolf Fox.
It just populated.
All right.
There. We do have a game to play tonight.
Oh, exciting.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, Mike, I think I'm ready. Actually, let me just update one thing, and then we'll be good.
Make sure to do the recording since
Yes,
Christian can't get here.
Yeah, I got the recording ready to go here in a second.
Cool.
Camera's trending? Why? Camera -1. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's bring up the cameras. There we are. Let me just do one last thing here, and then we'll be good to go. Already tested the music. You guys should hear it, and is it the appropriate channel?
I don't hear anything now.
No, you wouldn't hear anything now. I'm gonna unmute that channel just in case that's where it's coming out of. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That is the channel we'll come out of. Fantastic. Let me do this last thing. All right. Mikey, if I count us in, you good to go?
I'm good. I'm ready.
All right. There is a Red Wings game. I'm just looking at the box score like last time, Mikey.
That's fine.
Okay? Just like last time.
Fine.
Just the numbers. All
That's
right.
fine.
Here we go. Starting in 5, 4, 3. The internet, you're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Game Mess Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, Bungie comes for all live service games in the end, and that PS5 leak is mostly real. It's mostly real, so it's happening. Our PS5 Pro leak, I suppose I should say. Mikey, how are you doing?
Yeah. I'm good. Yeah, it's our first show in a bit. We had our exciting week in LA. Already feels like a very long time ago somehow.
It does.
But it wasn't. It was a lot of fun. The Game of the Year Giant Bomb show is now up on YouTube. People can watch that.
And they should.
Yep, and been really great hearing from people. Although, I shouldn't focus on the one thing that bugs me. But this whole thing now, Jeff, of how people are like, oh yeah, Giant Bomb's like, there's a real Nintendo build right now. It's like, I'm like maybe spoilers for that if you haven't watched it yet. Like, it's ridiculous to people that Tears of the Kingdom could win, and that we also like to Pikmin and Mario. I just don't know. Don't know. But
yeah, they're just gonna have that one. They're just gonna have to deal with because they're right. We like Nintendo's. Yeah,
well, they keep making good games. I don't know.
Yeah, well, how's that our fault?
There is somebody like maybe posited, and I never even thought about it. Is it a generational thing? Because I don't think so. I know a lot of people my age that still care about like stories and games a lot. I'm not on a Jeff Dan level of that for sure.
Right, you're definitely not.
But to me, it's a little weird when people are like, "Oh, I like this game because like this game's my favorite game of the year because the story was so good." That would just never ever be the main reason I like a game, right?
Yeah, I think
it's because we grew up with fucking Super Mario Brothers and shit like that.
There's definitely a little bit of there's
games.
Something generational there, probably to an extent, but it's just taste at a certain point. I try not to get too up in my head about it either. it does weird me out when I heard, like, and again, this was like some Sony focused podcast, but they were just like Super Mario Brothers Wonder doesn't belong on there because, you know, it doesn't have a story. It doesn't have like a big cinematics. Right. And I'm like, you don't want it to win Game of the Year because the gameplay is the thing that's good. And so, yeah, I just will never, ever, ever fully understand that. But beyond being like, okay, no, so for some people, this is their favorite storytelling medium. And at the end of the day, what can I do about that? Nothing. I don't want to do anything about that. So, hey, more power to them. Well, maybe we can figure out a way.
But yes, this is me. Yeah, I shouldn't even be thinking about this stuff. No, every bit was incredibly nice. It was a ton of fun. It was a great time. So yeah, definitely check that out. Fun stuff. How are you feeling now, Jeff? You all back into it already in the swing of things?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. I mean, focus on the negative. Ben Hansen sent me like a thing. I was like, hey, look at all the nice things they're saying about Giant Bomb and how a good year we had. And he's like, look at all the nice things. And of course, I'm like, there's like 4 negative things. I'm like, God damn it. My brain's just like, focus on that. But I got over that real quick and tried to take the big picture because it's like everyone's so nice. And you just think back to like the way people were greeting us after the show. And it's, oh, okay, yeah, this means something to them in the way it means something to us. So yeah, it's good to have all that energy and then take that back into, you know, doing Game Mess mornings every day. And I just really like that show. I really like getting up and getting in things and then saying things like saying Sega made Power Stone.
I'm sorry. Look, I apologize first for getting so upset about it, but you should apologize for getting that wrong.
I apologize.
How could you?
Well, it was.
How could 2 people be in a podcast and not know? How could you not know?
I'll throw Marino under the bus. I think he said Power Stone in chat, and I just was like, yeah, Power Stone, and that's all I thought about it.
You should know better.
Totally. But hey,
and, okay, like I'll forgive you for not knowing that Vector Man PlayStation 2 game was canceled.
I was not sure about that at all. I was like, I don't think that was real, but I was like, I didn't know. So yeah, I had never even heard of that game, honestly, that there was a Vector Man coming to PS2.
Yeah, it was in development. It was just in like magazines. I'm surprised Jan remembers it and like has a weird Bernstein Bears memory of it, like apparently coming out and having played it. I kind of want to talk to him some more about that. Vector Man's not coming back to those games. I don't know. They're fine.
I mean, if Altered Beast is back, somehow like part of me is like Vector Man could come back.
I think Altered Beast actually matters significantly.
Yeah, because it was like a launch game. Sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. How you know?
It's not a better game. I mean, Vector Man's not great.
No, probably not. You're right, but it probably matters more. It was the original pack-in too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was the launch pack-in. Yeah,
launch pack-in. But anyways, it's all about Echo. That's all. You're not allowed to talk about what other Sega games should come back and not bring up Echo again, just because I'm not there. Next time,
I was thinking like, we mention Echo every time. I don't need to say it again. I should have known better.
I will get on your case. You absolutely know that. You did redeem yourself by turning the Phantasy Star Online conversation into just Phantasy Star proper, because that's correct. That's what we actually need.
Yeah, and listen, I would love both to happen, but they definitely need to like just wake up and start making Phantasy Star RPGs again. If they're going to be in that business, that's what they should be doing. Yeah, why not? It's kind of weird at a certain point. The overall publisher's pretty good at that, so why not figure that out? All right. Thank you for joining us. You can get more from Mikey and me by joining the Discord at GameMess.net. Give us a good rating wherever you are listening and hit that like button on YouTube. Please, it helps people find the show. If you want to ask a question, you can drop a super chat during the show on YouTube. We'll read all of them before the end of the program. Thank you to Carlos Ayin, who is Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. Thanks to 1UP vs. CPU for our artwork. You can find more of them over at 1UpVersusCPU.com. We are on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and wherever pods are caught. Thank you to the mods, and support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you access to the private channels in our Discord, the monthly Q&A, participation in our monthly Game Club discussions, 1 month early access to new episodes of Game Mess Jeopardy and Columbros, and of course, all of our shows ad-free. I can't record Columbros tonight. Didn't have time to watch it.
Neither can I.
All right. I meant to tell you earlier today. Tuesday it is, everybody. That's patreon.com/GameMess. Again, end of the year. I know a lot of demands on people's time and money. So anyone who is supporting us, I thank you. If you can't support us financially, don't feel like you have to. Nope. We really appreciate you showing up. Even telling friends is a great way to help us out, but don't even feel like you have to do that. All right, Mikey, I got some big topics, including some relatively breaking news.
Yeah. Wow, let's get to it.
Although it doesn't really feel breaking. almost exactly, I think, what we were just assuming was going to happen. The Last of Us faction game, the multiplayer game that they were going to work on, following up The Last of Us Part 2, has fully been canned, fully canceled, fully done. They're not going to make it. And they explained why. And the reasoning was, hey, we got to a point where we thought this game was good. And then we did an assessment. And that's they did that with Bungie. And we kind of heard from Bungie, and they didn't say this part. This is filling in the gaps of what we know happened. But we heard from Bungie that once this game is live, the amount of work it's going to take to support it with enough content to make it a worthwhile investment for Sony is going to be so huge that you will literally not be able to work on any other games other than this going forward. So you have a choice. Do you want to keep making Naughty Dog style games, or do you want to make this live service game and hope that it goes well? And they made the decision. They're going to go back. They're going to make Naughty Dog style games going forward. They said they have multiple versions, multiple game projects in the works right now that are very ambitious. So that stuff's still coming. That's their focus. And at the end of the day, it makes sense. But boy, why couldn't they have just put this thing out as a mode originally?
Right. Even now, just, I don't know, give us something. There's a part of me that's like, well, what did you think was going to happen after you release this game? How much work did you think was going to go into having to keep this thing going? I guess it's a good thing that somebody came in and told them instead of oops,
yeah,
we have to keep this thing going. And now Last of Us Part 3 is going to come out in 2035. I don't know, but it seems bizarre. And maybe it seems like at some point there was at least an idea of, hey, well, if that's the case, oh, wow, we'll have a live service Last of Us game to make us $1 zillion. And I think the confidence that is a sure thing or even a likely thing has really gone down the tubes lately.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about this a long time ago before it was ever even put on hold or put on pause as it was. But we talked about it. What I had heard is people from Bungie did go in there and they saw, hey, this is a well-made game, but you are doing things in a Naughty Dog way for a live service game that really can't be done that way if you are going to frequently update it and add enough content and have the malleability to be able to bring in the kinds of deals you need to bring in to make a game like this appeal to new audiences. So they come in and they get to play as Ariana Grande or whatever. You're just not building the game in that way. And it's going to cause major headaches for you very soon after launch. And so here we are, kind of that's following through, and now we see that they're just not going to be able to undo how they built this game. It's going to have to be something very different, or nothing at all. And here we are, nothing at all. We once lived in a world, Mike, where this definitely would have just been a multiplayer mode in Last of Us Part 2. I get when Last of Us Part 2 launched that we were well out of that world. It kind of feels like, man, can we just find a middle ground and bring that back, though? Is there a chance that they can just say, hey, okay, factions can pull back and be an additional thing, similar in scope to the Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer mode, Ghost of Tsushima Legends that they released several months after that came out? Doesn't that make some sense still, or no?
I guess it's just, I don't know why, but it does feel like that's not going to ever happen again, right? Even something like Uncharted 4, which wasn't that long ago, I guess relatively it was, and it just had the same kind of full-fledged multiplayer mode, and it was great. And it was also kind of understood that this thing's never going to be huge. It's never going to be like Sony's Call of Duty, but it's this fun mode. It's going to be supported for a few years, and that's going to be nice. You just can't do that anymore. It just costs so much to keep that kind of thing up. Again, at that Naughty Dog level of quality, I suppose. And I that Ghost of Tsushima thing, they're probably able to just release that. If you did release factions, there does have to be some kind of consistent support afterwards, right? I guess, maybe the real question is, why isn't there maybe I don't know, like a Naughty Dog North or something like that, or Naughty Dog Austin that can maybe take, if not launch the product, they can be the ones that support it. But now we're talking about spinning up a studio, although, boy, more jobs in the industry would be a good thing, right? If we think people want a Last of Us multiplayer game, and we already made one, and the question now is just, well, we don't want to do the work to keep it up because we want to do these other things. Aren't there some other people who can do that work? Again, I know it's not that easy. I know you have to spin up a lot of things. You got to get people trained on your systems, your software, your culture. and all that stuff. But maybe those are the kind of things that should have happened like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's a good a diagnosis, Mike, because it's like if it does feel like there's conflicting entities at work here, where Naughty Dog feels a certain way about the things that they work on, but they are reaching the wall of what they're capable of producing on their own. And it's like, okay, maybe they should have let the visual arts group or visual arts studio take over more of Uncharted and actually do the Last of Us remaster and remakes. That might have been a good use of their time while you figured out how to maybe take some of the talent you have and build up another studio. Yeah. But it's like, no, they feel an ownership over these things. They wanted to be directly involved. It made some sense at the time because it was a good use of the people at Naughty Dog's time and talents. But here we are now. They're at a point where they're like, okay, they have to figure out what's next, and they did have to make a major decision of going down one path or the other. And it's like you could imagine a world in which maybe they would have been able to pull off both of these, maybe not to the scale of the biggest live service game in the world, but I don't know if that should be the goal. It feels like you should be pulling back from that in general.
Here's a question, two-part question. One, is Last of Us Part 3 their next game?
Yeah, probably. I think they have other things in the works, but I think they go Last of Us Part 3 to capitalize on the TV show first thing. I mean, Neil Druckmann is fully 100% Last of Us all the time now in Hollywood. And I think he comes back and that's the game that they're going to be thinking about making next. That would be easiest for them to make next. They probably will have something going right alongside that at the same time, but I think they give that a little extra time so they can build up something new and original. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's probably his next. And I guess my other question is, I mean, can't they just take some of this stuff or a lot of this stuff and use that as the foundation for just actually having factions in Last of Us 3 from the start? And, again, maybe you can kind of be like, hey, look, this isn't going to be some huge thing like maybe we once promised, but this is the multiplayer mode of this game. There will be like updates and things like that. Is that possible at all?
So the way that they phrased it in their statement is, hey, this stuff, the work that we did here helped us build out tools that will help us on our future games. It makes it sound like more abstract than we will be able to take these things and apply it directly to a multiplayer mode. I don't think they're going to even suggest that. I agree with you, Mike. That's what they should do. I think that enough people love these factions multiplayer modes that at a certain point, just adding it as a bullet point on your game would probably help. And Last of Us Part 2, it's like, yeah, that sold pretty good, but maybe it didn't sell quite as good as it could have. And would adding multiplayer as a mode in that game have helped? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I guess at a certain point, we start talking about what happened with like Titanfall 3, where they're like looking at it, it's like, is this investment going to be worth it? And they decided no. And maybe they're right, maybe they're not. Maybe because that was going to be a mode in Apex Legends, and it's like that they started looking at the numbers and like by the time we're done with this, the investment into it, it's not going to be able to recoup it because not enough people are going to still be playing Apex Legends to make it make sense. And it's like there's got to be a world in which making these things that people really, really like at these big companies can make sense. You got to be able to fit these pieces together some way. But we continue to find that that's not actually how it works. The opportunity cost arises and they look at it like, if we do this, then we can't do all these other things. And that's exactly how they phrase this. Yeah.
So games have been getting more complicated, more expensive to make for a long time now. It seemed like exponential, right? We used to get 3 games in a series, single generation, maybe 2, right? Like we got 3 Uncharted's, PlayStation 3, right? And now here we are where we kind of can't ever release a multiplayer mode for like the one entry in that game that comes out once a generation. It can't go on like this, right? We are at where we are at. We can't get to a point where like Grand Theft Auto 7 is going to take 20 years to make, right? We got to start kind of working towards this.
Grand Theft Auto 7 is a special case. I made my point about that where I'm like, I think they do try to have GTA 6 and GTA Online next, whatever that looks like, be around for a very long time, maybe possibly 20 years. But yeah, you're right. Your underlying sentiment of like this can't continue getting worse, right? We are at the limits of what is sustainable and what makes sense. Yeah, one game per generation from a studio at a certain point is just kind of that. It makes every bet the biggest bet, and every time something goes wrong, it's catastrophic now. So yeah, if you were to go ask these executives what's the solution here, the answer is not smaller games, because they do have to keep up the Joneses. If you are Sony, you have built the entire business around being like the most technologically advanced, being on the cutting edge of, like, when everyone was making 2D games. No, everything's got to be 3D on the PlayStation. It's got to be a 3D system. That's from the very beginning. And so the staying ahead and making things bigger than everything else, that's continued, and that's led to $200 million budget games that take 5 to 7 years to make. And it's very hard to see how they undo that, how they move backwards from that, but they better be putting things into place to ensure it doesn't take longer, because then it really is unsustainable, and I don't know what we do at that point for this industry. Little coffee cough there. You're muted still. Oh, you got. It's all happening.
Sorry,
okay, I'm sorry.
You probably think I had something to say, but no, I just wanted to cough. I'm hoping
no problem. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Well put though, Jeff. Good job. Good podcasting there.
Sure. I think Naughty Dog's probably going to be fine. Their next game will be very good, and they'll get a lot of attention for it. And I bet it will be very impressive technologically and push things forward and be very expensive looking. And that's what a huge portion of the audience wants. And then meantime, Super Mario Party is probably going to still outsell it. So good luck. All right. Insomniac was hacked. We got a lot of PlayStation news this episode. Insomniac was hacked. And the data leak revealed a bunch of stuff. The big things that I'm pulling out of this news story, Mike, are there is the one thing called RCE, and then there's references to a Spider-Verse project. People are speculating potentially the Spider-Verse project could be the multiplayer game that we know Insomniac is working on. Who knows? There's no guarantee that this is going to turn into anything, but it's fun to speculate about. What do you think?
There is like a Spider-Man storyline called Spider Island, where just hundreds of people become a Spider-Man.
Well, I didn't know that, but just do that.
Like, that's... Look, I get it. A multiverse. We're all very excited. Boy, I think that would be the route to take for a multiplayer Spider-Man game. But again, maybe it's just, hey, people don't know about Spider Island and everybody knows what the Spider-Verse is. So sure, I guess. We'll see. I want it to be differentiated from the movies because those are already very good. They're already doing that thing. But yeah, they're obviously making more Spider-Man. I almost hope the leakers have something juicier to tell. If they went to all this trouble and expect to be paid whatever ridiculous thing that they want to be paid, I hope they have something juicier than they're making more Spider-Man games over there.
Yes, in addition to this, it confirmed Spider-Man 3, obviously in the works, the most obvious thing in the world.
It literally ends on a cliffhanger, literally sets it up, yeah.
Yep,
great.
So not too surprising. This RCE thing, you think that's Ratchet Clank?
Oh, that's the other thing Jan said that made me mad. But I love Jan's the best. God, I love him. But he's like, I don't want another Ratchet Clank. No, we definitely deserve another Ratchet Clank.
He says he doesn't need another one on this console, which I kind of agree with.
No, give me more.
I mean, I'll play.
Again, we got 4 Ratchet and Clank games back on the PlayStation 2. Maybe 5. I think they ported Size Matters. I want that back. I love Ratchet and Clank. It's so good. We get 1 million walking, talking, talk about mad dads, and then like you get a puzzle or combat as a treat. Give me more 3D platformers with action that look like cartoons. No, definitely just more of those.
Yes, if I had to have my choice, I of course would choose more Ratchet and Clank over most of those other games from Sony. Ratchet and Clank still my favorite PlayStation 5 game, although Spider-Man 2 is very, very close.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is close.
Insomniac very good at making games. Is there a chance that this is Resistance?
No, actually, no. I'm going to say it. Absolutely not. I think no. Well, I know some people have some
Resistance Collector's Edition, RCE.
No. Cute. That's very, very cute. I like that. No, not happening. Sorry.
All right, the last story here. That PS5 Pro leak is almost certainly real, based on what I've heard now, and obviously I'm not the only one out there saying that, but I could throw my confirm into the ring for everybody. The current specs are based on a range of possibilities because they have not actually fully dialed that in. The system probably is coming out September. Did I write 2025? Maybe it's supposed to be 2024. Actually, no, I think it's 2024, and I think I wrote 2025 here. Come out September of next year, potentially. The big thing here, like the big feature that this system would support is Sony's own proprietary DLSS solution, where they use their own machine learning to improve images so they can run things at a really high resolution and really high frame rate. And they would include their own hardware in the PS5 Pro to do this. That's where like the 2x hardware ray tracing acceleration comes into place, but they would be able to do even more than just like better hardware ray tracing. So yeah, this thing's probably happening. I don't know, Mike. It still seems weird to me, but I guess it's gonna sell. It'll be just fine. It actually won't like disrupt things. So at a certain point, why wouldn't they do this?
Yeah, I mean, hey, that does sound nice, having some kind of super sampling, whatever, on the PlayStation. Why not? You know, we've seen some games struggling already on there. Now, I think that is often optimization, like Jedi Survivor, right? I don't know, but hey, I'll take it. And I know we got the sense before that Xbox is not going to have one of these. And I still just wonder what that's going to look like if there is this fancy new PlayStation 5 and no sense of an upgrade from Xbox.
There are there are rumors out from someone who like was part of like leaking this stuff on the PlayStation side, and this stuff I can mostly confirm. And again, there's some details that might not be fully locked in. That's where I say mostly. But that person's now also saying that Xbox will have their own Xbox Next in 2026, whether that's a Pro or the full follow-up console. Now, plans change. We heard during the FTC trial, documents showed that Microsoft was planning a diskless Xbox that was going to be basically an Xbox Series X, just, you know, with a cylindrical shape or whatever, and it wouldn't have a disk drive. This leaker's saying that stuff's canceled, and instead they're going to do the Xbox Next faster than they would have done otherwise. So maybe moving up the start of the next generation by a couple of years. I don't know.
6 years, like, yeah.
I suppose you're right. 6 years is not that unheard of.
No, I mean, back in the day it used to be 5, but, you know, it's been a little bit longer than that lately. But, yeah, yes. I mean, hey, maybe that's what you do. Maybe if you're Microsoft, one way to help yourself is to get out of this kind of rut.
Yeah.
Your new console comes out the same exact time frame as the new PlayStation. Maybe it'll be better for both of them if they kind of trade off. Like every 3 years.
Why not
now?
Yeah.
Why not anymore? Because you can still have the multi-platform games work on both of them.
Sure.
Anymore.
Because what's the downside? The PlayStation 6 comes out 2 years later and it's more powerful. Well, yeah, but that's 2 years where you're way more powerful. There's definitely you can make hay of that. You can do something with that. And having the point-to-point comparison of being like, oh, we're the exact same console, and like having to kind of do that because you need to play it safe because you need to be able to compare point by point on the same day because both systems are there on the shelf at the same time. That does seem like it's holding back one of these systems, specifically Xbox. So get away from that. I think that could work. I don't necessarily know if they'll do it. Again, plans have just seemingly changed. Maybe they'll change again. But I think it's probably at least worth considering. If you're in Microsoft's shoes, I think this is something like, that's a plan that could work, and maybe they end up trying to pull that off. PS5 Pro, how much do you think this thing costs? This thing comes out on $600, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should just meme themselves now. They should just come out and say $599 US.
Yep. Giant
and
enemy
there should
crab.
be a Ridge Racer launch game. Hell yeah.
Hey, yeah, listen, it's a meme, but we want it. Come on, we're not joking about it, actually.
Fucking bring back Genji. Let's go. Genji 3.
It's all happening. All right, those are the big stories I wanted to talk about. But if anyone else wants to bring up anything you want to get our opinion on, feel free to send in a super chat. We'll get to everything, like I said, before the end of the show. First, though, why don't we take a quick break and we'll get back and we'll start reading those super chats.
Yeah.
And this is a break. I don't know if that actually helps if I say that for
Chris is not here. It's his birthday, everybody. Happy birthday,
Happy
Christian.
birthday, Christian.
Yeah, he's celebrating his birthday against his will.
Yeah. He was like, oh, they're making me do a barbecue because it's my birthday. I'm like, yeah, have fun. But we can get right back to it.
Yep, we can go right back in. Let me just make sure I am set up. Yeah, we'll get set up after the super chats for the game.
Yeah.
Right, Sean? Okay.
Yeah,
how
we'll
we
take
do it,
another
yeah.
break. There'll be enough super chats.
All right, just give me a second. All right, still 2-1. Shit. Okay. Coming back right now. And we're back. Mike, read me those super chats.
Willow Davis says, "Hey guys, I was going to give you another chance after the Brawl incident, but then this morning Grubb said no one thinks Death Stranding's story was great." Okay, I don't mean to dig ourselves bigger into this hole, but Jeff, I've never heard anybody talk about the story of Death Stranding
They
in a
only make
meaningful
fun
way.
of it. I don't get it. Like
I don't know.
listen, I don't even mean like, oh, the characters have stupid names. Like, no, that stuff's fun. I mean, the story of Death Stranding is overwrought and absurd and obvious. Like, right? Come on.
I don't know. I don't know.
Whatever.
Epic Open World says, "Just wanted to say it was great to see the show in LA and shake the whole crew's hands and chat a bit. Hey, it's great seeing you too, Epic
That was
Open
very
World.
cool to meet you, Epic Open World, a name I recognize for years
Yeah.
now. So very cool to put
It
a
is
face to
weird,
the
like,
name.
yeah, just actually see, like, meeting these people. It's so weird. Like, we were done with the show, you're like, oh, people are waiting outside. It's like, waiting for what? It's like, oh, well, I guess we'll have to go as we go outside and say hello to people. Just, man, surreal. Career highlight, right? Bizarre. I don't think I've ever been able to just point at something and be like, well, that's kind of the epitome of everything.
Yeah,
so
I
far.
know I haven't really thought about it in those terms, but you're absolutely right. Like,
I mean, you have your couch stuff. That's
yeah,
also
yes,
incredible.
I feel very good about that stuff as well. Yes, definitely. But I,
Yeah.
package it all up for that week of Game Awards stuff and our Game of the Year coverage and content. Yeah, that was a week of highlights for sure.
Yep. Great stuff. Thank you again, everybody. Char Wolf says, "Do you guys think the live service bubble will finally burst? We go back to the joyous days of normal multiplayer modes like Uncharted 2 and Mass Effect 3. I don't think it's gonna burst. I don't think we're getting those modes back either. Because there are some things that are happening. It's going to be a bad sign if the finals doesn't hit. I think that'll be a bad sign, right?
Yeah, that's a
if
good
it doesn't work
litmus
out for
test.
the finals.
Yeah.
We'll have an idea, because
That's
that just looks. Watching you guys play that, I was like, man, I need to play that. That looks like fun.
Really fun. It's got it's 3v3v3 or 3v3 with like 12 players. You get in there with your brothers, play that. I bet they'll dig it.
We were always looking for games to play. So.
Yes, so that'd be a good
great.
time. I like here. Let's let's do a thought experiment. Do we think Metroid Prime 4, if there's any world in which that has a multiplayer Metroid mode?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean that it's just we're so far away from when that stuff just happened. A big part of it is the cost. Like we had a whole conversation about it. We don't have to retread it, but you're already spending $100 to $200 million on a game. Spending an extra $50 million on a multiplayer mode that you don't necessarily know is going to matter. It's just not worth it to these companies.
Nope. Ali Miracle says, "Help! I'm still in LA. It was awesome to meet you. It was awesome to meet you too.
It was great to meet you, Allie Miracle.
Yeah." You think she got stuck in the tar pits? Is that what it is?
Definitely. That's definitely what happened. Allie Miracle was the one that wrote in, I think, was it the Bombcast, Allie Miracle, about bringing your PS5 on the airplane?
Yes.
It worked out for her. She brought it.
Oh, good.
I think they bought a monitor when they were there, and it was, they're going to return that. Make sure you return that. That's what all the developers do. Sean, what's his name, from Hello Games. It was like Sean Murray, thank you, had a good tweet about them returning their TV after using it in their hotel room to show off their game all week. He's like, this is the definition of indie studio. If I see you on the street returning your TV after the Game Awards, you're an indie studio. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good.
Funky Monk says, "Dear bozos, who should I bother at 2K to get them to fix Midnight Suns? Also, why does the Mad Max game kick ass, and why aren't there more car RPGs where you upgrade the car like it's a character?"
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, upgrading cars just makes a lot of sense. I've never played that. Well, I tried the Mad Max game.
I played a bit of it. I would definitely love to actually play through it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
What's wrong with Midnight Suns?
Yeah, what's wrong with Midnight Suns? I didn't know. I haven't played it. I mostly just been here. Mostly when I hear about Midnight Suns, is people talking about how it was overlooked. So I don't know if there's any problems.
Jan really liked it. I played a little bit, and I really enjoyed the tactics that I did engage with. So good game.
Well, I thought you guys only like Nintendo games. It was
on the Switch, so yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine. We'll allow it. MN Goldie says 3.5 years into this console generation, Naughty Dog has 2 teams and has made 2 remakes. Talk about a fall from grace. Uncharted 4 was 7 years ago. I mean, a fall from grace isn't necessarily fair.
Uncharted 4 was 7 years ago. Also, like, and The Last of Us Part 2 was what, 4 years ago.
Right. And, they did do these remakes and they did develop a game pretty far along that they just canceled. So they're doing something. And look, if you want to compare them to like Insomniac, everybody looks bad next to Insomniac. Nobody really understands how that's working. You think Sony maybe would, and maybe can help out other people, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, again, PlayStation 3, they released 3 Uncharted games and The Last of Us that generation. It is just insane. And that's not a Naughty Dog thing. That is just the industry now. It is insane how much that has changed.
Yep.
Like, can you imagine 360, PlayStation 3, 2 Grand Theft Auto games, that one generation.
Yeah.
And they made Red Dead Redemption and like other things.
I mean,
like table tennis.
Up until Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, Rockstar Games released one game a year, pretty much every year, going back a decade plus. It was one game a year. Some of us like more hands-on than others, but they were right there for one game a year. And then that just immediately stopped as soon as GTA Online hit. So we're just a completely different world. Then that's, GTA 5 now 10 years ago. So there's no going back, really.
Mr. Boer says, got to see the Giant Bomb Real Game of the Year show live, and it was a blast. Good work on all the work you two put in last week and throughout the year between Game Myth and Giant Bomb. Thank you so much, Mr. Boer. It was really nice to see people come in there that, were from this community, right, alongside Giant Bomb and all that stuff. So really appreciate it, everybody.
Yeah, that was. I'm really glad so many people from Game S were able to go and see it live. I'm glad everyone has seemingly had a good time. Like everyone was like, that was a lot of fun. I was like ahead of time, like, we'll have 90 minutes. I hope people feel like it's worth it. I think we did a good job of making what we had work. Next time I'd like to have more, of course, but
yeah, I mean, that's like, that's something I heard, and I think we all would prefer to have had more time to talk about the games a bit, but hey, there were 2 shows going on in that theater after us just that day.
Yep.
It's a little hard to block shows. It was hard for us to have a sense of just how we were going to be on time, right? We never did anything that had such time structure in it. But yeah, I think next time we could definitely do a little bit more of that. One thing that there are some people who say, like, I miss when they yelled and screamed at each other. That's not going to happen again.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of a little bit more drama here and there, but not the yelling and screaming is not going to come back.
No, like I'm not like a certain point. It's like, okay, so I like Tears of the Kingdom and Lucy doesn't. Like what?
Yeah, what do we do about that? No, yeah, I do not want to have that conversation. That is that is completely pointless. Yes.
Like I don't get.
I do like moment of the year. Like I wish we could have more time to talk about all the moments in there. That there's a lot more moments from like Armored Core 6 specifically. I would have been like, yeah, I could talk about 5 moments from this thing, but. We picked and chose our battles, and I'm happy with the results. It was a good show. We did a good job.
Yep, absolutely. Shigeru Miyamoto said, Kojima keeps asking me for Cool Chris's number for his dumb movie. Please tell him to leave me alone. He's mine and mine only. Yeah, we didn't really talk about that. The A24 Death Stranding movie.
Yeah, I figured someone would bring it up. It's also like, hey, yeah, we'll see if that thing ever comes out. I think A24 is a pretty good fit for that kind of video game auteur trying to become a film auteur. Try to make it work. I bet it'll be just fine.
They should make it. They should make it be a sequel to that Civil War movie that they're doing. It's just a sequel.
How do you feel about that Civil War movie? I think is that one that's getting on your nerves, like it is a lot of other people.
No,
me neither.
I mean, I don't know. Like I watch it. I'm like, this is sad that like people probably would have even thought to make this movie like 10 years ago, I guess. But I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yep, that's how I feel. It's a movie. It'll be okay.
X Atticus says, looks like that organic multiplayer growth in Halo has really paid off, huh? Crazy how PlayStation doesn't have the backing for one of its best studios. I want to play Halo.
Hey, we did that Halo Infinite TNT a little bit ago, and that was one of the more successful ones. I had a real good time with that. It was I like playing Halo.
Okay, I got one from my brother Chris, and it requires an activation on my end. Because he says, Mike Zors, April O'Neil available on Fortnite, thought you'd want to know.
You were right.
I do want to. All right. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So, yeah. I'll read the rest of these first. Don't worry. Matt Ramirunki says, if studios get one a gen, maybe we have shorter gens. Now, the gens get longer also, by the way. Gens are longer. Fewer games, longer gens. That's what you... Again, I don't... Nintendo gets to make like 5 games a year, 6 games a year, and like 3 of them this year were Game of the Year contenders for me. So, and it's not like I'm calling her crazy. They all review like
Right.
in the 90s or the high 80s. So again, I don't understand.
If anyone's like, well, Pikmin 4, you just didn't play it. I know you didn't play it.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple for me. So, yeah, whatever.
Matt Rare Monkey says, oh no, Mikey O'Leary says the California Raisins Christmas special is over. Time for the Garfield Christmas special. Oh, the one with the grandma. They go to the farm, right? Yeah. That Garfield and Friends era Garfield animated stuff, that hit. That was good stuff. Shocking that I think the Garfield from when I was a kid was good. But I think that's when it was the best, actually. A good theme song, too.
I like that show, too. I like that. That was one I was always excited when it was on. I was like, oh, man, I'm here for Garfield. And then
the friends show up.
The friends show
Acres.
up. U.S. Acres, right. I was going to say U.S. Farms. I'm like, that's not right. And I'm like, oh, no, I actually love these guys maybe even more.
Yeah, with Orson, the pig. And
Orson.
There's an egg and a chick. It's good stuff. There's a sheep, maybe 2 sheep. Might have been 2 sheep. Might have had a 2 sheep situation.
Right. It's sort of like how there's a Skeeter and a Scooter on Muppet Babies or the Muppet Show.
Yeah. Skeeter. I just thought as a kid, oh, Skeeter must also be one of the Muppets. Then I found out, oh, that was an OC created for Muppet Babies. Cagney McCauley says, hello, Mr. Grubb. Hey, very nice. Hello, Mr. Grubb. And why do you get to flash that on? Oh, the Channel 6 news thing on there. Hello, Mr. Grubb and Mr. Minotti. My friend, oh my God, I can't believe she's taking it off. My friend thinks he has Hideo Kojima's OD figured out. He thinks it's a story about AI taking the place of actors. What do you think of that theory? I hope that's true because I think that could be interesting. I think that'd be a good hook. I like that. You can kind of see how maybe that's the thing. That would be a worthwhile idea to pursue.
Yes, I would be interested to see Kojima's take on that. That would be cool.
T Bucket 23 says, love watching the Game of the Year Giant Bomb videos this year, guys. Thanks. However, no, clearly this is the Critical Path Award this year. We'll do one next year. I mean, this year the winner was so obviously Sonic 06. Like, what are you going to do?
That'll be a classic award going forward.
Or maybe Jeff getting lost in Alan Wake 2. I don't know. Either one would have been good.
All right, that's a confusing game. They shouldn't make it so confusing.
Ellie Merkel said, also see the stupid stuff Sweeney said today. No, what did he do this time? I did not see it.
Me neither.
I think she might be referencing a thing that happened yesterday and got reported on today, where someone asked him, The Verge, I believe, asked him, why is Fortnite still not playable on Steam Deck? And he responded with, if only we had a few more programmers in the year that he laid off like 830 people.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Okay. People are like, why are you guys so hard on Tim Sweeney?
that one was
maybe because he's a douchebag.
He's
a
douchebag. It's like that simple. We're not even that hard on him. We treat him like he's a douchebag because he is. It's that simple.
That's it. All right, that's it for Super Chats for now, everybody. We will read more of them as they come in before the end of the show. They will all get read, I promise you. I got an April O'Neil to buy, Jeff.
All right, well, let's take a quick break and let Mike do his dark deeds. All right.
Oh, she probably has a camera backpack. Maybe a pizza box.
Jesus Christ, Mike.
The shop.
You've been in your pants.
Maybe it's because I'm delirious from lack of sleep, but I'm pretty sure you referred to Matt Rare Monkey as Rat Mare Monkey after you saw that picture as well.
Totally happened. Is there a version where she is wearing the? I want her to wear the jumpsuit too, though.
Yeah. You saying I want her to wear it's not what I need to hear right now.
The jumpsuit stays on.
She has a boom mic thing as her. That's very good. Oh, and I can play as her in the Lego game too. That's neat. Okay, I definitely have to get some V-Bucks. Excuse me. Oh, that's weird. I'm going to have to buy more than I need. That's not right.
that doesn't seem like it should be the way it works.
How strange.
Well, someone should be alerted to this. Tim, did you know it works this way?
That doesn't seem fair. Why can't I just buy them as many V-Bucks as I need right now? How strange.
Okay. Sean, you are streaming the game, it looks like.
Sure am.
All right, let's do this. Let's get rid of my camera and get rid of this.
The only song I listen to in Fortnite is that song they released for Pride or whatever. It's very good.
Is that one of them that's in Festival?
I don't know. They something when there will be heroes.
Maybe not.
Loudly heroes.
Also, I play each song in Festival once because that mode is not great.
No, I haven't tried it. Yeah,
Mhm.
people seem excited about Lego, not so much about the racing or that.
It's not quite as quality. I don't know. The whole thing feels a little jank.
Yeah, it's now I'm hearing like, oh, it's Lego is fun, but it's missing a lot of the features you would expect from like an early access survival game, let alone a completed one.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Doesn't mean it's not fun. People are enjoying it. Okay, we're gonna play it next week on Giant Bomb, so look out for that, everybody.
Wow,
I
very
have
exciting.
the game set up. It looks like. Are we good to
Yeah.
go?
Yep.
Think we're good to go. You're watching it, Mikey?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, we're good then.
All right, I'll bring us back. It's time for a Bop Original. That means I'm no longer the host. I hand the show over to Turbo Sean.
That's right. It's time for everyone's favorite game show within a podcast, back yet again after Bob, he's good at keeping track of the numbers. I think he told me we haven't done one of these in a month and a half.
Whoa.
We haven't done one with you guys in 2 months. Because I was doing the last one or something like that.
Oh, that's right, man. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a hot second since we've done one.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, video viewers, from the color scheme, we got a bit of a festive
Ooh.
one tonight.
It's all Christmassy.
It's all Christmassy. Quick rundown of the rules since it has been a while. Every round, the players will be given a certified retro game that's 10 years or older. You got to predict the game's Metacritic score as it stands at Metacritic.com. We'll be using a closest to pin scoring system. So you want to get the perfectly right on score. Each point you're deviated from, you will gain 1 point on your score at the end of the game. Golf rules, you want the lowest point total. If you guess it exactly correct, you deduct 5 points from your score. New rule, as suggested by AJ Minotti and written into law by executive producer
Wow.
Benji Bop. In rounds 2 through 5, the current leader has to go first. So that just means if you're in the lead, you're picking first. No more back and forth. In the event of a tie, reverse the order of the previous round where there was not a tie.
All right.
Oh, fun.
Sure. Anyways, I don't know who the hell won the last one. So I just flipped a
no one
coin.
knows.
I flipped a coin. It's Mikey. Mikey, you're going to pick first here.
Fantastic.
Tell me what you think Bully Scholarship Edition for the Wii that came out March 4th, 2008 and has 34 critic reviews is sitting at on MetaCritic.com.
Yeah, people like this game a lot. This is just a port, and there might be a bit of a Wii tax, but I still think it got I'm going to say 87.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember people liking this version specifically, but that could be wrong. I'm going to say it's probably not, though. I'll go with an 85.
Okay, I do remember people really liking this one. I don't know
Yeah.
how high it went, though. We're going to find
Right,
out
that's
here.
that's where I'm at, too. I'm just not sure.
The Scholarship Edition of Bully on the Wii, because I believe the PS2 version also got Scholarship Edition, or maybe that was 360. I can't remember. It's been a while, but sitting at an 83.
Oh, wow,
So just
okay.
a little bit lower. Just a little bit lower.
Oh, wow.
All right. Let's see. Low score. So, Jeff, you'll be picking first.
All right.
Batman Arkham Origins Xbox 360 version released October 25th, 2013. We got 46 critic reviews you're working with.
Okay. This is the one that's not Rocksteady, right?
Who could say?
So I'm just
You
thinking
should
out loud
know.
here. Yeah, that's why I said it. But listen, I know people think of this in lower estimation. I'm not sure if it got totally beat up in reviews. I'm afraid to go into the 70s is basically what I'm trying to get at. I'm going to go with an 80 flat.
Okay. Mike?
I think that's almost right. I think a little bit better. I'm going to say 82.
Okay. You'd think, based on the way people talk about it, it'd be a little bit lower, but still a good game.
Right.
And the critics thought that deserved 74 if they were a
Really?
little harsher on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I'm not too surprised. I was just afraid to do it.
All right. That's even a little lower than I would thought 77 or something. Well, that means that Jeff is still in the lead by 4 points here, so he will tell me what he thinks. Parasite Eve for the PS1, released September 9th, 1998, and 17 critic reviews, has America.com.
Who the fuck would possibly know? Okay. Parasite Eve, I remember a lot of hype for this in the small gaming circle that existed back then, where it's like, hey, this feels like the next big thing after Final Fantasy VII in some ways. And I think a lot of that momentum did carry over into the reviews. I think this game is mostly positively received. I'm going to go with an 85 again.
Okay.
Yeah, people like this game. I almost bought a copy of it at the used game store. People do like this. People seem to almost like it more now than not that I didn't like it then, but people really want this one back. 85 is good. I have a little ground to make up. I'm going to say 87. I think it's a little bit more.
Okay. Well, Parasite Eve got an 81.
Wow. Okay. Man.
Low 80s. All right.
Rough. Woof.
All right. That means that we have Jeff in the lead at 12 points to Mike's 18. A slight lead gain there. Game number 4. Shenmue, released for the Dreamcast, November 7th, 2000. Only 9 critic reviews to work with here, Jeff.
Yeah, that's tough because it's like, are the true believers the one reviewing this, which is like really possible. I'm going to say, yeah, it probably is the true believers reviewing this. And so I think it's going to have a pretty high score. I'm not going to go in the 90s. I'm too much of a coward to do that. So I'm going to go with 88.
Okay.
I think Jeff's right. This is probably like almost all magazine reviews. Yeah, he's right though. A lot of people would have given this like 9s at the time, but I guess I think he's pretty much right. I think I'm going to hedge my bets that there may be a couple newer reviews in here, like 1 or 2, dragging this down. I'll say like an 85.
85, final answer?
Yes, final answer.
Okay. Yeah, definitely not a lot of people playing Dreamcast games back in the day for review. And cumulatively, they gave it an 89.
Oof.
So right around that 9 you were talking about there, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he was on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah. All right, quite a hefty lead there from Jeff, 13 to 22. Final game. Tim Burns, The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Pumpkin King, the GBA game, October 10th,
version.
2005. 5 critic reviews.
I can tell you my immediate like visceral response here is I think people like this one better than there's a PlayStation game too, right?
There's a PS2 game.
PS2 game. But I have no idea if that's right. That could be completely out of my ass, like 1,000,000%. But I just kind of like got to throw something out there that feels like maybe positions me well against what Mike can do. And also, this also is kind of where I think it's going to land. I'm gonna go with 75.
Okay.
I do not think people like this one in the PlayStation 2 version. I don't think I've heard much about this. My only hope here is that this game's real bad.
Right.
And I don't need 20 any. Oh, yeah, that'd be enough. I'm gonna say, how much am I losing by? Math is hard.
You're losing by 11.
Yeah, I'll say.
Wait, 9. Sorry.
9. Then I will say 60.
Okay. Now the scores are locked, and I can say people do not like this one. They like the PS2 one because it's just Devil May Cry. I don't know how bad this one is, but also remember Benji Bop's Curveball.
Yes,
so what did
I'm
this
totally
get?
expecting this to be like a 20.
71.
All right. Okay. That means people kind of like
it
this.
It did all right.
Like
it did
yeah.
okay. It got a good out of 10.
I got kind of swept across on that one. Nice.
That means final score, Jeff wins with 17 to Mike's 33.
What were the first two? I pieced together all of these are Christmas games, but now I forget what the first 2 games were.
Bully Scholarship Edition, which, you go through a school year, you're going to have some Christmas time.
Okay, yeah.
Arkham Origins takes place at Christmas.
Yes, that does. Okay.
Yeah, Parasite Eve does as well. Shenmue, of course, has the Christmas time. Then Nightmare Before Christmas. I was a little upset at the lack of Bayonetta 2, but then I realized it's not quite 10 years old, so it's not a retro game.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, fun.
All right, then. Very cool. You know what? Actually, Mike, do we have any more super chats?
Do we have any more super chats?
No, actually,
we don't.
I don't think we do. Okay. Then we're going to take one more quick break as we get set up for the best game of 2009. We'll be right back after this. Okay. Should be quick.
Take Penny out real quick.
Sure thing.
All right.
Do that.
Super Mario RPG.
That was just nonsense.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Jeff, I've been listening to video game music all day. I'm just like, that sounds like this other song that I heard earlier.
now that I'm like thinking, yeah, it did kind of sound like that. Okay. 2005, 2008. Let's move that.
Hey, you know how many different versions of the battle theme I had to choose from?
Probably a lot.
Yeah, there's like 5 different ones at least. Oh, Bob's saying Mike's not going to be happy about the startup for the next one. What the hell? This man already has it planned out.
Oh, no. Well, Mike's not going to be happy. I mean, oh, yeah.
Well, when is Mike happy?
No, very good point. Oh, shit. Sorry, I turned the game on since Mike's gone.
Yeah, I know you did. That's how, because I can tell because the scene isn't switched over yet.
Oh, yeah. There we go. There it is.
Need a sheet up. I need to kill a stream. You know, a couple things need to happen here. Yeah.
Oh, there's that. Okay. Let me go. Yep. And then I can just move Mikey down. Actually, let me bring it back here.
Perfect. Let me get Dick in the box out of here.
Please.
Good call though.
I'm back.
All right. Let me just this. There we go.
Mike, I noticed before, but Sonic and Knuckles for December. Very nice.
Yeah, right. That's a good finale for this Genesis calendar.
I associate that with Christmas. I got it for Christmas one year.
Yeah, nice. I have to see if I get a calendar for Christmas or I need to buy a new one. We'll see.
All right.
2008? What?
9.
It's just barely in the frame there.
Yeah, I can move it over a little bit. Let me just adjust things a tiny bit. There we go. Okay.
There you go.
There she blows. I think we should be good. Let me bring that here. Let me go there. And then... Yes. All right. I'm ready to bring it back in. Are you guys good?
Yeah.
We're back. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody. We are going to talk about the best games of 2009. If you haven't heard this before, what me and Mike do is we go back and forth. We pick a bunch of games. We make a list. Then we cut it down to 5 and we order them. So we've done this for several years in the past. For example, 2008. What the fuck is this list? I did not participate in this one, did I?
No, I think it was... Yes, you did. 2007 was the one you didn't, right?
Oh, okay. I was like, Mirror's Edge. I would not have let you have done that. But now I'm looking at the rest of the games. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I totally would have because there's nothing else I really care about.
Mirror's Edge?
I like Mirror's Edge. I don't like adore it the way you do. But looking at the list now, I'm like, oh, yeah, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was the game I put on there. I like Mirror's Edge more than that.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah.
That's actually the best
like some
game.
amazing year, sure.
Yeah, sure. All right, 2009. There's a couple of games that stand out to me for sure. How about you, Mikey? Where do you want to start?
Yeah, my big one that I always think of with this year is Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. Gosh, one of the first games I even was ever writing about when I decided I wanted to do this. I liked Uncharted 1 a lot. I was super excited for this, and this is the sequel that really over-delivered. It kind of showed everybody just how good this franchise can be. I mean, this is the game that kind of laid down the prototype of what a Sony exclusive was going to be forever, right?
Yes, it really did.
And some of its innovations, like doing things like having the organic walking and talking and having these big set pieces, like they seem real, like normal now or trite even, but boy, was that stuff really seamless and cool at this time. The fact that this game just had that much personality inserted right into the middle of it, that it did feel like this exciting action adventure with these still some of the best set pieces of the movie. I mean, that train level was the coolest thing I had ever done in a video game at that point. That the train wasn't just some train going down a never-ending straight path. It went through this real landscape with twists and turns, and you were kind of climbing across it. You had to snipe people and like kind of aim your shot so that you would get them when they were done with the turn, or adjust for the bends and things like that. And other great moments like getting chased by a helicopter, getting chased by the tank. Just such a fun game. I will always love this. Just some of the most fun I can have with a third-person shooter.
Yeah, I remember one of the early, I had, we had done podcasts before, but I remember you been like, oh, Uncharted 2 going to win Game of the Year. And I think you did it like in a comic or whatever. And
that was back when I first started doing this at BitMob. My gimmick, hey, when you're starting out, everybody, here's some piece of advice. You need a gimmick of some kind. My gimmick was that I just drew bad screenshots instead of using screenshots. That's how I got initially noticed, was doing that whole thing. But yeah, gosh, apparently that was in 2009 when I did that, right? So yeah, there you go.
I'm going to go with Batman Arkham Asylum. That was 2009, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Boy, I love this game. This is a Metroidvania where, what you play as Batman. That's a good idea. And it's not just a good idea. They executed on it pretty much perfectly. You feel really cool. Obviously, there's the Arkham combat. That's a big deal. But, going up in the rafters, dropping down, taking out dudes, stuff that also in some ways today, Mike, can feel normal and trite, but was very powerful then. It did make you feel like, oh, this is the fantasy of being Batman. And then, you get a little bit further into the world. You open up a shortcut, you explore, you got a good lay of the land, you open up a new place, and then you probably get some new little like rocket ship that drops you a new piece of equipment that makes you even more powerful, so you can go explore new parts of the world. It's a good loop for a reason. It's a reason we come back to Metroidvania games. It really worked here. This is still my favorite Batman game.
I mean, there's a reason why pretty much every game just copied this game's combat, right?
Oh yeah, and of course the combat is a really good way of doing things. It really is. Now I'm like not loving it in Ride to Hell Retribution, where it's not very good.
Right.
But hey, it actually was incredible in Batman Arkham Asylum.
No, it's super good. And I could go back and forth on if I like this or City more. And I like that there actually is kind of a difference there, where this is the more Metroidvania contained kind of thing, and then Arkham City is that bigger world stuff, and there are benefits to both of that. No, this game ruled, and just licensed games in general were in a rough spot at this time, man. So this coming by being a good Batman game, which we had not had in a very long time. The last couple generations were pretty rough on Batman. Then this game just absolutely ruled. It was such a fun surprise. It was God, it's just the atmosphere is great. Just the way they're handling all those villains. It was a ton of fun. What a fantastic playthrough.
Yep, and it showed us that we could get good versions of these kinds of things in a way that we just not seen before. Yep, you're right.
Absolutely. Assassin's Creed 2. I actually kind of defend the first Assassin's Creed a bit, but the series obviously got a lot better here. I think they kind of figured out a better gameplay loop. They did have a better story, a more likable protagonist with Ezio. I think it gets improved even further with Brotherhood, where they just focus on the one city instead of having these three that you kind of hop around. But still, maybe not quite as much as Uncharted 1 or Uncharted 2, but this was a very big improvement for this franchise.
Yeah, I like Assassin's Creed 2 a lot. For me, Brotherhood is where it coalesced into a game that I love. I love Brotherhood. But Assassin's Creed 2 was still it was well on its way, and it's a very good game. And for a lot of people, this is where it came together, and this is the series hitting its early highs. So, yeah, definitely a worthy game of calling out here.
I'm upset.
Let's see here. Let me go back to my other list that I was looking at to see if I make sure I can remember things. I do like Borderlands, the original.
The original Borderlands did hit pretty good at that time.
Yeah. Well, at least worth throwing up here on the long list.
Yeah.
It was it's just really good at nailing that loop of, hey, go out, do some fighting. You're going to find a bunch more guns, and one of those guns is going to be better than the one you have. Go ahead and equip that, have some fun. It's easy to play with friends. It is not asking a ton from you. And yeah, it was just a really good early cooperative game.
I mean, they really did just take the Diablo formula and make it work for first-person shooters. And other games had been trying to do that. I remember Hellscape London or something
Sure,
like that.
yeah,
Like,
man, that game, yeah.
Yeah, like games that wanted to do this, and this was the one that really made it come together. And it was like fun characters. The art style looked cool, right? Some of that stuff that maybe doesn't age amazing, but that all worked for me at the time for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Henry Hatsworth in The Puzzling Adventure.
Let's fucking go.
This DS game is just wild. On the top screen, you're basically playing like a Mega Man X situation, but you're this old posh English guy. And on the bottom screen, you are simultaneously playing a like puzzle game, like a block puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to like keep up with both of them. And it's something that could only have happened on the DS, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I love this game. It's one of my wife's favorite games.
My wife.
She played it without ever upgrading her character. I always make sure to point that out because that's very hard. Like,
Yeah, right.
She didn't even know she could do that. She just kept playing it, and she would get frustrated, but she would stick to it, and she crushed that game. I really, really enjoyed Henry Hatsworth. It's such a good concept of that fun platformer that looks really good. It's a high that platforming game could come out today. And you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's just a high-quality indie game. That's how good it looks. And then the puzzle game, it adds a lot of back-and-forth fun. It keeps your brain engaged in a way that I really appreciate as someone who can drift away from games pretty quickly, that this game does not allow you to do that. I always appreciate that. Let's stick with the DS. Retro Game Challenge. Mike, did you ever play this one?
No, I haven't really played this one, I'm afraid.
This is a game based on Game Center DX, which is a Japanese TV show where a guy does a bunch of challenges. It's very popular. People like it in Japan. This is a very, very localized take on this, where the 8-4 play guys, did I say ZX? CX. I meant to say CX. Where the 8-4 play guys basically adapted it so it was like you are a kid sitting in a room and someone comes back in time to play games with you, and like they have to go experience all these games as they got released, and they're not really mini games. They feel like just like actual games that were released in the early 80s for the NES. So you play like an early shooter that's a Space Invader shooter, and then you play like a platformer, and then you play like an action game. And it's like they're like full little games, and you're putting the little cartridges in the system, and you get game magazines that talk about the games that you're playing and give you codes, and they give you hints about stuff you need to do in these games to actually beat the levels, which is like a very cool thing. And then they talk about games that are coming up, and then eventually you will be playing those games. And it's like, oh man, we're getting word from Japan that there's a big RPG. It's going to be like bringing the Dungeons and Dragons experience to the console for the first time ever. And then eventually you get all the way to that RPG, and it's a full RPG in this little game. And the best part for me was, as I'm a huge fan of EGM, because it was the 8-4 play guys, Mark McDonald, John Ricciardi, they wrote for EGM. So what they did is they took their friends and made them the writers in the game, including Dan Shu, who in the game is called Dan Sock, and they took his picture from the old EGM magazines and had him one of the characters in there. But it's just such a neat little thing that I'm a huge fan of, so definitely wanted to call it out.
This is a good year for the PlayStation 3. I have a couple more here. I'm going to start actually with Ratchet and Clank Future, A Crack in Time. It's either this or Rift Apart that is my favorite in the series. Mm-hmm. This one is a ton of fun. This is the one with the really good Clank puzzles where you're kind of like recording, rewinding time, doing stuff like that. But all the Ratchet stuff is also still a ton of fun here. This is another one with Nefarious as the villain, and he is fantastic in this. I believe there's even some like, I think you have a spaceship, you even kind of go to planets. There's like a little bit of Mario Galaxy in this one, I call. This game was just phenomenal. I absolutely adored this one.
I'm not going to say 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. So instead, I'll say this is when I was going to get to Uncharted Wolf. Punch Out. Punch Out for the Wii came out in 2009. That is a fantastic game. That is an early, who's the Luigi's Mansion? Next Level? Early Next Level game. And boy, they're doing then what they do now, having the best animation in the business. It is one of the best animated games of all time. And it came out for the fucking Wii in 2009. It still has better animation than most games you're going to play. And that's a good fit for the Punch-Out series where you have these very expressive characters, and they didn't just like, oh, we're going to do like a retro game. It's like, no, they try to make it look like a big modern video game release, and it works. It's got still a very cartoony visual style to it, but getting in there and beating the hell out of all those stereotypes is actually a pretty good time.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Wow, you just came out and said it,
Yeah,
but he
that's the
admits
video
it.
game.
Wow. Remember I was talking about it was a good year for PlayStation 3?
Yeah, what else you got?
The Demon's Souls.
Yeah, Demon's Souls. I was hoping you would bring it up because
Holy crap.
I played the re-release, the remasters, or the remake, I should
played
say.
more.
Yeah, but I didn't play a ton of it.
I played more at the time, and people were buzzing, right? Like especially in the enthusiast circles, because they didn't quite hit the mainstream until Dark Souls really.
Yeah,
people
but
were
at
buzzing
BitMob,
about
it was
this.
a big deal at BitMob. When we
yes,
were volunteering there, yes, that was like all of the editors were like, "This is the best thing that ever had to happen." I'm like, I don't get it. What is this thing? I'm scared.
I mean, people really were, I think, kind of craving for something that was a bit more "quote unquote" old school difficult, right? And that's really what this was. It was, hey, you're gonna fail a lot before you get it right, which, we were already kind of getting to where games were really helping you. I don't want to say hand holding because there's a negative connotation there, but the games were helping you a lot to make sure you could beat them. And this one was not that incredible atmosphere and mood. I mean, there's so much in Elden Ring that still comes from Demon's Souls,
Absolutely,
right?
yes, definitely.
Incredible.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna bring up some ones that I said last week that actually came out this year. Rhythm Heaven and Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. I'm a big fan of both of those.
Yeah.
List is getting pretty crowded, but I at least want to mention these. Chinatown Wars is such a fun game. It's basically
Cool.
it's Drug Wars on your TI-85, but you could play it as a Grand Theft Auto game, where you could like buy and sell drugs, and it's a top-down Grand Theft Auto game, but it has like a lot of the spirit and attitude of the more modern Grand Theft Auto games. They did a really good job with that game.
I mean, it's got to be the best because they've done like Liberty City Stories and some of these other spinoffs. It has to be the best of all of those by far.
Oh, yes, easily. It's kind of not even close. It's a game that you could go play today and still have a really good time with. In fact, I feel I should just put it on my Steam Deck. And then Rhythm Heaven, I mentioned this last time, but yes, that was a really well done DS rhythm game where they made it feel like using the touchscreen was really additive to the experience. It was like taps and flicks, and like doing a tap into a flick was like this really good rhythmic motion that took advantage of the system and felt really good with all the great music that's in Rhythm Heaven. So really standout game.
I have maybe a couple more ideas, but maybe we should see what the community thinks at this point. Like you said, that was getting crowded.
Sounds good. Let me just fix your camera real quick because I'm going to go over there in that.
Fix it good.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, I see you're an expert at spelling the word rhythm.
Yes, every time. I get it right the first time without issue. Okay, let's see here. Cranges McBasketball says Batman Arkham Asylum with a bullet. Tommy Pencil says Demon Souls kind of sucks, but so does 2009. So far, I'm really digging 2009, Tommy Pencil, so agree to disagree.
I mean, it's like when I did my first glance, I'm like, oh, there's not a lot. But then when I was really looking, I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, this isn't like we've had some ridiculous years, right? This isn't maybe one of those, but it's a good year.
No, there's
still lots of good games.
Definitely agree with that. Let me bring this.
It's not an all-timer or anything.
Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to let people see these messages by doing this. Okay. Let's see. Deck the Halls with Bops of Holly says Cars Race-O-Rama. No? Okay, fine. Assassin's Creed 2 is really what puts this franchise on the map. And you can see parts of this game's DNA in new releases for the next decade plus. It deserves a spot on that list. I think that's actually what we're seeing a lot of. Is that there's a lot of games that sort of defined the games we're playing today, released in 2009, right?
Yeah, it's a very formulative year. 1,000,000%. You're right.
Nick Turbo says Left 4 Dead 2 was my game during my high school years. Still one of the most played games on Steam. You're a child. You can't take it.
Well, hey, it's fine. I wasn't super kind about Left 4 Dead 1. It's just not really my thing, and I was kind of the same about Left 4 Dead 2.
He's a child because he was doing it during his high school years.
Oh, sure.
I was not.
Yeah,
I love Left 4 Dead 2. That's a great game. Yeah.
That's almost not too bad. Like, I would have worried like he was going to tell me he was playing it when he was, I don't know, 5 or something.
Sure.
Right?
Okay, good point. Chaos Buckaroo says, since you already mentioned Uncharted 2, Platinum turned Gen 4 into a great game.
Pokemon Platinum. Yeah.
Yes, Pokemon Platinum. NHL 10 is also a highlight as one of the best sports games ever. Yeah, NHL 10 was really good. And then should we include Pokemon Platinum? It's your call.
No, Pokemon's going to get its time again when I think next year we're going to have Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and then a few years, we're going to have Black and White.
Yeah. Okay.
That's when I'm really going to be thinking about Pokemon
what does
again.
Peter Molyneux's Black and White have to do with anything, Mike?
I'm sorry. I'm just always thinking about it.
Jackie G said, I do think about Black and White a lot, Mike. I don't know what it is.
That's incredible.
Jackie G says, no game in 2009 made me feel the way Spirit Tracks did. Stop scowling at me, Sean, and also me and Mike. I think I don't want to love Spirit Tracks.
Yes, I want to love Spirit. I want to go back and love it because I just like the idea of a train-focused Zelda game. That's a sequel to Wind Waker. I should love this game, but those touchscreen Zelda games. It's not even the touchscreen stuff. I don't mind controlling Link with the touchscreen, but this was really bogged down in that era of the intro to this game is going to be 4 hours long and pretty boring.
You know the problem with this one and why I am hard on since they mentioned it?
Yeah, please.
If you think about it, this has to be the worst mainline Zelda, right?
I mean, Phantom Hourglass exists.
I think that's better than Spirit Tracks.
Isn't? I don't know.
I'd have to play. I really got bored of Phantom Hourglass fast. The idea of like going deeper in that tower, whatever the fuck it was.
Both of them are sort of like in that sort of bucket, though. That's why I view them as they're not awful, but it's like they're definitely.
Someday I'm going to play through them just for pride's sake because I've beaten every other mainline Zelda game, so it's a little weird. I just didn't beat these two, but here it is.
Mayo Nace says Rhythm Heaven correctly. Teriyaki Blue says the most fun the most fun I had in video games in 2009 was playing co-op Resident Evil 5 with a buddy over Xbox Live. Probably not going to put Resident Evil 5 on this list, right, Mike?
No, it's got Resident Evil 5 is so much fun. It's also really stupid in ways that they could have maybe like done a better job of. Like it's no Resident Evil 4. It is a lot of fun, and that co-op experience was great. But it's not going to quite make a top 5 list. I'm excited for the remake to see what they can kind of do there.
Fudsack says Red Faction Gorilla doesn't deserve to win, but it deserves a mention. Damn, did it feel good to topple buildings with a hammer? I like that game a lot.
I do like that game. I don't think I'm going to quite consider it for the list, but I did like that game.
Mr. Bowler said I started college in 2009, so I'm realizing I didn't play that many games from this year, but I did play Batman eventually, and that is a great game.
Fantastic game.
Read this
it's like remember like the first time you're in a room and you're doing the whole thing where you're kind of like going from the gargoyles and like you're picking them off one by one. They're kind of freaking out. Just felt so good.
All right. I'm being requested to read this in a lamentful tone. It's over. Saddened as I may be, I've accepted that the dogs will not treat my favorite generation of gaming with the respect it deserves. Jeff was in a Call of Duty coma and forgot every game that came out, and Mike became a competitive Melee player. Just put Uncharted 2 and Punch-Out on the list and let me live my days in peace.
Oh, what did you really want on here? That's what I want to hear now. Jeez.
That was from Baldur Gate Wolf 5. Hey, listen, you got a good shot with both of those games.
Well, those will be fine. I have feeling there's something like else that they wanted. Maybe they also wanted Spirit Tracks and knew they had no chance. Maybe they just wanted Brawl.
They wanted Brawl again, yes. 2 times King Beefhammer says, Mike's probably already said it because it's one of the best sequels ever made. And I know Jeff will probably agree as well. That's why I fully expect number 1 to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Yes, I will not.
Look, I was already a little over it at that point.
I was not.
Like Modern Warfare first was like, yeah, I get it. Modern Warfare 2. I famously am that person who has a problem with no Russian. I think that was a bad thing. I don't like that. That's me being a little pro clutchy. I understand. That's okay. You can judge me.
I was playing the multiplayer. I don't even know what that is.
See?
Flabotron says, launching a new IP is hard with Mass Effect, and in 2009 Dragon Age Origins, BioWare showed how it's done, where Cyberpunk stole and half-assed their life path feature from.
Dragon Age Origins is this year? Holy shit, look at that.
Yeah, Dragon Age Origins is this year. Do you want me to remember to put that on the list? You can think about it.
It's going to be hard to get. It might be hard to get. I liked Dragon Age Origins a good deal. It's still the best Dragon Age because it actually kind of did hold on to a lot more of that old school BioWare stuff. Like this is of all the post KOTOR games BioWare made, this is probably the closest to that in a good amount of ways. There's a lot of character customization. Yeah, this game was pretty neat. It was ugly even then. Like it noticeably did not look as good as Mass Effect 1 did, even at that point, because I think the game was actually in development longer. But there was a lot about Dragon Age Origins to like.
Real quick, Mike, according to Wikipedia, I don't know if you saw this list. If you include packing games, what was the best-selling game of 2009, do you think?
Oh, including pack-ins, probably just still Wii Sports.
Yep, and then what was number 2?
Wii, was the one that gave everybody the Wii Play?
Wii Sports Resort, actually.
Sports Resort.
13.5 million copies sold, and then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came in after that at about 12 million copies sold. All right, so let's see. Super Eden Plus with expansion pack says tied for the highest rated Call of Duty game of all time, and debatably part of the best Call of Duty. The best Call of Duty has ever been. Sitting at a 94 for console releases on Metacritic, it's Modern Warfare 2. Also, it outsold a Mario and a Wii Fit, so that's kind of neat. Yes.
Remember when the Call of Duty games were also like the best reviewed games of the year? That was a fun period of time.
I mean, at that time, they legit were better than just about everything else that was coming out. Yes.
Yeah, they were pretty great.
Hammond of Texas says, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. I initially bought my first Nintendo DS for this game, and it remains my favorite GTA game to this day, primarily because it returned to the quasi-isometric camera angle of GTA 1 and 2, and also because it was easy to play during school or work breaks with the closed clamshell to suspend your game design of the DS. Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite things about the DS and all of the games on it. But yeah, Chinatown Wars is a really good bite-sized kind of game. Joyzy says Arkham is an obvious lock, so I'm putting in for Dragon Age Origins, the last great BioWare game. Bench JC says Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. You can't get better than this. Easily one of the best RPGs of all time. The comedy, combat, characters. You can't get better than this. I really like this game a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the last great one, right? Like
Definitely.
There's a few Mario Luigi's after this that are they're okay.
Yep.
But Bowser's Inside Story was a very fun premise. I think it worked really well. It was very good. It might be hard for top 5, but that was a very good game.
Always Be Clothing / Corgi says, hello, Jeff. 4 on the top 100 gaming podcast, Grubb. And Mike looks kind of Filipino from certain angles, but naughty. I'm going with X-Men Origins Wolverine, an extremely gory but competent game that I can't believe got made. The best thing to come from the Wolverine Origins film for sure. Oh, that's definitely true.
Yeah. I would love to play this game someday. I think that'd be a lot of if I really want to play an Xbox 360 Xbox 360 game that's still fun. This would like be at the top of my list.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent God of War clone. I had a good time with that game. Razzle Jazzle said Uncharted 2 and Assassin's Creed are both personal favorites of mine, but I'd like to shout out Halo Wars. I'm sure there were some others that came before, but this is the first RTS I can really remember where using a controller instead of a mouse and keyboard actually felt natural.
I was definitely a snob about it. I was like, I ain't playing no RTS of controller. You know, I wasn't a giant Halo person, right? So I didn't do much of Halo Wars.
All right. Velocity Prime says, and I'm going to start like hitting the big points now, everybody, just to let you know. Sorry about that. Velocity Prime says Ratchet and Clank are cracking time. Villain Max says Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Josh L. Page says, I already seen Demon Souls slander. I'd say Dragon Age Origins, Infamous, and Batman Arkham Asylum deserve to be mentioned, as well as Assassin's Creed 2.
That's the first mention of Infamous, which never did much for me, Jeff.
It didn't do much for me either because I thought it looked generic. It just looked, I think the character looks so generic.
The character looked bad. The art wasn't great. I mean, it was fun. It was a fun enough game to play. But I think even then, I was like, if I was going to play one of those, I'd rather just go and play Spider-Man 2 again still.
Yeah, same. Slaint McLawsome says Dragon Age Origins was my favorite game of 2009. Also mentions Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story. And thank you, everybody, for bolding the games. That is actually very helpful.
That is helpful, yeah.
Haas says it's not going to get anywhere near your list, but let me shout out Halo 3 ODST.
Yeah, sorry.
I played it, and I thought it was fine. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I wish the Halo fictional world moved me more, but it just doesn't.
Don't we all?
Jamie H. Christmas Eve says, my pick is Ghostbusters, the video game. Essentially the third movie set 2 years after the events of Ghostbusters 2. I like that game a lot. Probably not going to make the top 5,
fun.
But it's a very well done concept of like, let's just make the third movie as a game.
Yeah, it was super cool. It was kind of a miracle we had it at that time, right?
Yep.
Like it really was Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis. I mean, thank God we did it. I mean, right when Harold was still with us and everything.
Absolutely. Clink says, I had forgotten how rock solid 2009 was. Arkham Asylum has already been talked about extensively. So let's talk about Borderlands. I didn't realize at the time just how big it would get down the road. Shoji Kodo says, Minecraft. God, that's right. Minecraft entered early access in 2009.
Like a Java game still, right?
I mean, it's still a Java game in many ways today. If you play it like with mods, they have moved away from Java for like the main version of the game. But this is like the earliest early access release, basically. I think
this is when it actually was what, like, you know, he who should not be named. Like it was just him, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I think he had a very small team. Yeah, this is when I bought it. I bought it in 2009 because I was like, oh yeah, early access. This is a cool idea. I'll just try this thing and see see how it grows. It really came out, and I think they mentioned it here. Like 2011, 2012 is like when it hit Xbox 360, I think. So that's actually when it was very big. Wong Gift says, I'm going to nominate a very late PS2 game as best of 2009. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner 2. Raido Kazuno versus King of Abaddon. It just kept going, Mike.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is one. I think I bring this up when people ask me what game has the longest title. This is definitely a contender. I'm glad I bought this game in exchange when it wasn't too expensive. I think I even got a collector's edition that came with a little plushie of Jack Frost wearing this guy's clothes. I have that somewhere. I didn't get to play this yet. So this is like action RPG SMT. It's supposed to be neat. I want to play this at some point.
Yes, and the Cascoder points out Minecraft was huge before it hit console. It was, but like suddenly people who never played video games before were playing Minecraft in front of me. So maybe it's just a personal experience. Big Tony says Street Fighter 4. Mike, how do we feel about this?
Yeah, it hasn't come up yet. It's a little weird because Street Fighter 4 Arcade came out in 2008, but I don't know. At that point, especially in the US, we can consider the console release to be the release. This game's a very big deal in terms of reviving fighting games, and it was a lot of fun. It does actually still hold up. I think it should be considered. It would only get better when they would do things like Super Street Fighter 4 and Ultra Street Fighter 4, adding tons and tons of characters. But even initially, it was a pretty good roster. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Buggydillo says, how cool was DJ Hero? I love the surprisingly robust turntable controller and the gameplay that puts a fun spin on the Guitar Hero formula. I've never touched DJ Hero. People swear
like it. DJ Hero is a ton of fun.
Yeah, people say it's so much fun. I should try to find a way to play that. Although I'm hearing that all of these peripheral games now are super expensive. I'm like, man, I should have just got it all when it was dirt cheap. Matt Rare Monkey, or how did you say it? Matt Rat Monkey? Matt Rat Monkey says Batman Arkham Asylum, Uncharted 2, Assassin's Creed 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Street Fighter 4.
It's not a bad list right there.
Not bad at all. Lenny Cool Dick Denver says, I mean, Arkham, Rhythm Heaven, and Chinatown Wars have been said, so maybe we should all take a break and laugh at New Super Mario Brothers Wii. Listen, that's a good game.
It's a good game. It was already, I mean, that one really suffered from the standard definition looking rough and those kind of just bland 3D models looking rougher in that presentation. It was not a pleasant game to ever look at. It controlled pretty well, though.
Yep, it's got some really good levels. That's my favorite of the new Super Mario Brothers games, is the Wii one. But
sure.
Hey, I'm not going to try to force it on this list. I don't have very fond memories of that whole era of Mario anymore. Nope. Dr. Lynch says, I know that for many this is going to be batshit insane, but I love Killzone 2 from 2009. Fantastic music, solid shooter, cool setup, some multiplayer that I still think is massively underrated. It may not have been the Halo killer, but people wanted it to be, but it never needed to be that.
What's considered to be the best Killzone? Is it 3? Like 2 almost like was always going to struggle because of that.
Christian was in the chat earlier saying Killzone 2, so that
I do know people like Killzone 2, but yes, my memory of it, Mike, is yours, where it's that bullshot trailer is all I think about.
Right, and then Killzone 3.
Killzone 2, let's fucking go.
Well, what the hell? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Christian.
Thank you. Yeah, I kick everybody out of my house because I heard Killzone 2. So
well, fair enough.
That's the way to do it.
Well, let's not put it on the list now.
Adam GC says, I'm just popping by to say that Spirit Tracks theme is pretty dope. And Little Train Conductor 2 Link is like a top 10 Link look. Yes, I agree with that. JD Camp says, "Oh wait, they've also mentioned. Oh no, that's actually just a picture of Link with the."
Did they
the
draw
head.
this? It says artist rendering based on my memory. I don't think they drew it, but if they did, that's neat.
Yes, it looks really good. JD Camp does say 50 Cent Blood on the Sand.
Is that the one where he wants to get his skull?
Yes, it very much
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. DMC DDD's Merry Christmas says nostalgia playing a huge role in this pick, but the game lets you
Jesus.
drive around what I remember to be a great rendition of Radiator Springs.
As
Cars.
opposed to all the bad renditions of it.
Cars Race-O-Rama
Wow. Okay.
from
Someday.
THQ. T Money OG says this is the first year I kept my top 10 in a list on Giant Bomb.
Wow.
Batman Arkham Asylum is my number one. But special shout outs to Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, Red Faction, Gorilla, and Shadow Complex. Vision says Assassin's Creed 2.
Wait, we didn't talk about Shadow Complex yet. That was
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
that's a good game, man.
That was pretty neat. Fun Metroidvania made by Epic Games.
Yes, and the team that would go on to basically to make Fortnite. I mean, at least the head developer, Donald Mustard.
Oh wow.
And then based on a story by Orson Scott Card. So-
Yeah, for some reason, had to get him and his homophobic.
I think the
ass
reason is
involved
that
a bit.
Donald Mustard is also hella Mormon, if my memory's serving myself right. So I think
yeah.
it's like that. Like they all know each other, Mormons. Am I right? Everybody?
Yes.
No, I don't think I'm
Yeah.
allowed to say that actually. Vision 49 says Assassin's Creed 2 and Left 4 Dead 2. Super Harmon says Dragon Age Origins. They played through it 4 times, probably their favorite BioWare game.
Well, they have to play all the origins. That was a cool system. That basically your first act was different depending on like what kind of character you made. Like if you were a wood elf, it was different than being a city elf or being a mage or being a dwarf. That stuff was cool.
Screaming Madden says Madden NFL 10 introduced
Jesus,
Fight
Ed.
for the Fumble, which had 2 players perform a quick time event in order to win possession of a ball.
That's what they added that year.
Peak
That is
quick
the
time
most
eventing.
2009 thing they could have added. They added quick time events to Madden.
Fight for the
Oh my
Fumble
God.
is what it's called. But since you all will rob Madden again, I say Uncharted 2. It's perhaps some of the best games I somehow never finished. Crouching Boomer Hidden Zoomer says Angry Birds released that year.
Cool. Next.
Warden Glyph says Cannibal. Man, remember
Jesus Christ,
Cannibal?
I haven't heard the word cannibal in a long time, but there it is.
Man,
huh? Wow.
I liked Cannibal a lot, but
Yeah, I would have guessed you liked cannibal, so put a gun in my head. Like, do you think Jeff Grubb was really into cannibal?
Yes, I
I'd be
was.
like, yep.
That
Yes,
and
I do.
Dolphin Olympics 2, or whatever the fuck it was called.
God.
Arjun says Forza Motorsport 3 was the game that pulled me out of being PC only for most of the 2000s and got me to buy a 360. Dr. Ryan said 50 Cent Blood on the Sand was the only game of the year with a dedicated curse button. He had to get his crystal skull back, you guys, and the helicopters. M. Goldie says Modern Warfare 2 and Uncharted 2. Willow Davis says Peggle on Xbox 360. I was going to bring that up, but that game came
Peggle
out
was
on
good.
PC before that. So, yeah, Peggle's very good. Sasquatch, it says Plants vs. Zombie and Warhammer 40K Dawn of War 2. I think
I was never much for Plants vs. Zombies, but I'm not much of a tower defense guy.
I like Plants vs. Zombies quite a bit, but yeah, at this point,
Who won, by the way?
you know what? It was the Plants. The Plants won.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah. And Turbo Sean says we can overthrow him, Jeff, with a picture of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And then Spooky Christian says Killzone 2.
Let's fucking go.
It's probably not even his birthday anymore in Argentina right
It's
now.
no
right?
longer my birthday.
Okay,
we don't
cool,
have to
cool. Yeah, we
have-
Give him what he
I
wants.
guess regardless. No, I was
Birthday
just gonna
week
say,
though? Birthday month?
Birthday
Only I
month.
get those.
Bring it
Only
in,
I
let's
get
fucking
those.
go. Now, okay. Now, also, the multiplayer in Killzone 2 is pretty good. Nobody else did it again. It had that thing where like the mode of the multiplayer will change mid round. Like it will like you will get capture the flag, and like after the capture the flag phase pass, you get like protect the VIP, or like it's just like straight up like deathmatch. It was pretty cool. I don't know. The clan system was cool too. I don't know. I really like Killzone 2 multiplayer. It was a good time.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
All right. I added it to the
Put it
list.
on the
There you go.
Yes.
What did we say we were going to put on here, Mike?
I don't know. I thought you would have done it at the time. I don't remember now.
Oh, well, it must not have
Street
been that.
Fighter 4?
Must not have been that important then.
Street Fighter 4 and Dragon Age Origins.
Well, it's zoomed in like hell, so we can't really.
You know what? You know what?
I have a lot of problems with the way you do things around here. There's some changes around.
Did you
here.
not put MW2 anywhere on here yet?
No, I will though. Oh, wait,
No, we're not going to consider it.
Didn't I not? Oh, I thought I already did that. Okay, Modern Warfare 2. Okay, here's the list as we have it right now. Uncharted 2, Batman Arkham Asylum, Assassin's Creed 2, Borderlands, Henry Hatsworth and the Puzzling Adventure, Retro Game Challenge, Ratchet and Clank Future, Crack in Time, Punch Out, Demon Souls, Grand Theft Auto, Chinatown Wars, Rhythm Heaven, Killzone 2, Street Fighter 4, Dragon Age Origins, and Modern Warfare 2.
All right. So look, Uncharted 2 is my number one.
And Batman
Arkham
Arkham
Asylum
Asylum is my number one.
I would say Arkham Asylum is not like that for. I think I like Arkham Asylum more than you like Uncharted 2. So if you want to make Batman number one, that's fine.
I think that sounds right, actually.
I think that sounds fine, but I do want Uncharted at number 2.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yes,
I think
that's how it
complete
is right
sense.
now. Okay, yeah. God, what else? Man, there's a lot of good games. This is pretty tough.
Yeah.
I think for me, the other one I really want to make sure is on there is Punch Out. I love that game.
All right. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, Punch Out. I agree. I'm probably not gonna acquiesce on Rhythm Heaven.
Rhythm Heaven, I don't think has a real strong chance again. Listen, Rhythm Heaven is fantastic, and if you had any rhythm, you would love it. But I understand it's just one of your weaknesses.
I actually have pretty good rhythm. I don't know what you're talking about. My rhythm's pretty nice.
I'm just trying to make you feel bad, so you'll actually let me put it on there. And be like, oh yeah.
Okay. I do like Ratchet and Clank Future, Crack in Time quite a lot. I think that game was very good, and we don't have a lot of, especially for 3D platformers. It's not important, right? Dragon Age Origins, Street Fighter 4, which are other games I could consider definitely more important than Ratchet and Clank, Crack in Time.
Yeah.
As is Borderlands, even really.
Yeah. I really do like Rhythm Heaven. I like Chinatown Wars. I like Retro Game Challenge. Those all feel, and Henry Hatsworth, those all feel pretty tough to get on the list in some ways.
Yeah. Demon Souls, I respect Demon Souls maybe a little bit more than I enjoy it, so maybe that's not quite making it.
Yeah, I probably won't make it. I did try to play that remake, and I see it a little bit, but it's like it didn't get me like Sekiro and Elden Ring. Like, just no way.
I mean, in a world where we each just got to put on one more, what would be your one?
It's tough. I think I think maybe it is Chinatown War. Well, if I'm just putting on one more, maybe I actually put on Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
That's a very good game. That's the one, Sean, where I could put on like the really fast perk, and then I could have put on the knife perk, and I could just like be a witch and jump at people, right?
Oh yeah, and just hit them from like 10 feet away.
Yeah, that's one of the best feelings I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah, it's got the juice.
It does have really good juice.
If you do Modern Warfare 2, then I think I will just do Ratchet and Clank Future.
All right. Okay, I think that seems fair. Can I put Modern Warfare 2 at 4?
No, I already gave you your number one.
Okay,
so
no. I just figured I'd try. I get it.
I'm very even lower.
In fact,
This Mike Minati, huh?
You can have Punch Out at 3. You didn't even ask me about that, huh?
Shit, he noticed.
Try to distract me. Right out the full name, Crack in Time is gonna bother me without it.
Yeah, it just says crack.
Please,
it's Crack in Time. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, please. I'm sorry.
God, really? That one too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Among Thieves. What's the fourth one called?
A Thief's End.
Thief's End. All right. Okay. Yes. I like the F thief more than the plural thieves. I don't like saying thieves. I like saying thief.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the way the V looks there. I think it's fine.
Oh yeah, it looks nice. I'll give you that. I just don't like saying it.
Right. All right. And chat people seem to be happy I got Ratchet and Clank on here. We'll see how Twitter feels about that.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay. This is the list though, right? You want to read it?
Yeah. I mean, our list is number 5. Call of Duty. This is best games of 2009. Number 5 would be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Number 4 would be Ratchet and Clank Future Crack in Time. Actually, Jeff, please.
Oh my god.
Number 3 would be Punch Out for the Wii. Number 2 would be Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, and number 1 is Batman Arkham Asylum. Yep, that's it. You sure you don't want Chinatown Wars instead of Modern Warfare 2? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I love Chinatown Wars, though. Strong number 6. Strong number 6. Okay, let's I'll tweet this real quick, get everyone mad at us.
Sure.
Do we think we need another break? Or we should just talk about what we've been
We
playing?
can just kind of get through it, I think.
Okay.
We got maybe a couple more super chats, and we have...
Yeah, hit me with the super chats first.
Yeah. Oh, actually, we don't even have any more super chats. Everyone, we're front loaded on super chats, so that's fine. If you have any more, though, everybody, get them in now. We're going to start wrapping up here. But Jeff, before we went live today, I was actually playing some PSP games that are available on the PlayStation 5 now.
So that's what you were playing? Okay, I wasn't sure if you were just talking about those and you were playing it some other way. No. So you have the premium tier? I think I dropped mine down to the middle tier.
I think I think I didn't have anything for a while, and I just re-upped it. I forget why. There's some reason. I think, was it because when I got sent the new PlayStation 5 model, I had to like back up saves? I probably didn't even need to do that. I don't know, but I did. And today or recently they added Soul Calibur Broken Destiny, the PSP Soul Calibur game. And I've, with Tekken coming out and playing Soul Calibur 1 at Dan's house with him, I've kind of been feeling a Soul Calibur itch. And I never played the PSP version, right?
Sure.
And I kind of really like in general, like I was always like, I didn't like the PSP much. I don't think I got the right games. I did not at all, because I should have gotten this Soul Calibur game for PSP.
Yeah, people really like the PSP. Yeah. And I would tell you I would not know which ones are the right games, because it is really hit and miss with some of those established franchises, which ones are good and which ones are just kind of like farted out.
Exactly. But hey, look, I mean, it's a little bare bones, but it is Soul Calibur. It's just on there on the PSP, and that is pretty neat that they made that work. It's a pretty nice roster. You have some weird characters. You can still make your own character, things like that. The single player offerings seem a little sparse. Like there isn't even a real arcade mode. You have kind of a trimmed down version of what you would call that conquest mode or that adventure mode here. But like when you're playing the game, it is just that. It is Soul Calibur. Like the character models look pretty good. The UI with the upscaling is always rough on these kind of things, right? But whatever. You can get over that pretty quickly. And this is the one that had Kratos in it. And that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He controls fine. I mean, Kratos has been in a lot of fighting games now, but still, it's pretty fun to just see him.
Yeah, but he's a good fit for Soul Calibur, though.
Right. Like, this is like definitely... Like, if we had Kratos when Soul Calibur 2 came out, that would have been a good choice.
Yeah.
For the PlayStation 2 version of Soul Calibur 2, right? That would have been a good equivalent of GameCube getting Link.
Yes, and it would have been even like, I mean, just the way Kratos, like, I assume, like, does he have like the Chains of Olympus? Is that what he uses as his weapon? Yeah,
he does, but he also could bring out the sword at one point too for like the one move I did, right?
Cool.
So yeah. And it was like, like triangle was heavy attack and square was like light attack, just like in that game. So it kind of worked like that. It was fun. But then after that, I played Ridge Racer 2, because there's 2 Ridge Racers on PSP. 2 is basically like the better one with more stuff. I feel about Ridge Racer, and I've always heard this is a great Ridge Racer game because it is kind of just a best of Ridge Racer up to that point.
Right.
It's got stuff from like all of the past games in it, tracks and songs, cars, and that's what it is. And it is fantastic. It is so good. It even, like textures obviously aren't great because it's a PSP game. But when you're playing a 60 frames per second, racing is going pretty fast. That doesn't really matter all that much. It just feels very good. That drifting system is fantastic. You have songs from all over the franchise, including that all-time great Ridge Racer.
Which one is this again?
Soundtrack.
This is Ridge Racer.
It's called Ridge Racer 2.
It's just called Ridge Racer. Yeah, that was okay. That's why I was like so confused.
Because there is a Ridge Racer 1 on the PSP. Then they made a sequel to that on PSP. So that's why this is Ridge Racer 2. And I've always heard it's one of the best in the series. And it is. It is super fun. Works great. Has a fun career mode or whatever you want to call it. It's on that PlayStation Classics thing. Definitely the best PSP game I've ever played, but we all know how Ridge Racer pilled / brain, whatever I'm supposed to say. I am.
Mike, I tried the finals. The finals.
Yeah. What did I tell you?
You were right.
You to play the closed alpha. That's right.
It's good.
Do I have to buy this game?
No, it's free to play.
Free to play.
So you can just go get it on Steam right now, actually. So What makes it good? It is a very much, it does the thing where, hey, basically you are playing this game inside of a slot machine. I said that when I introduced the video. Turns out that's true. Lots of great sound effects. When you kill someone, they explode into a million little coins, and boy, that feels real nice. The shooting's solid. The destruction is very good, and it impacts the gameplay in the way you want from people who have a lineage making Battlefield games. To the point where it's like in one of my first couple of matches, I'm like, I know the thing I need to do or need to get to is on the floor above me, and they're about to claim it so that it will be gone, and all of my work to get over here will be for nothing. So I'm just gonna like do a Hail Mary, and I'm gonna shoot my RPG right into the floor. And I shot it, and the thing fell right in front of me, and I was able to pick it up. And I didn't get very far, but that's because like I'm still like piecing together even how to play the game. So the fact that that was possible, it's like, okay, we are opening up possibilities immediately. I like destruction in games; they do it very good here. To the point, and they like know they do it good, so they put the objectives in situations where like you really want to blow it apart. It's like, oh no, it's just like on one of those platforms that's just kind of barely hanging up there. Just fire every rocket you can at that thing, knock it down, bring it down to the ground level so the fighting's a little bit even more chaotic. It's really well done. And then it's the main mode is 3v3v3, and you're trying to bank these objectives and take them to these ATMs, and that's pretty cool. And I like the idea of it being 3v3v3, having 3 different teams. So it's like, and it's not like triple threat where if one person wins, like gets out ahead. It's like, no, you're racing to a certain score, so you feel like you're still in it, even if someone else gets the first 2 objectives. Because if 2 different teams get the first 2 objectives, it's like, no, all we gotta do is get the next one, and then we're right back in this thing, and we could easily win. I like that. And then the other mode, which is like more advanced, kill confirmed, where you kill someone, they drop some money, you go collect that money, and then you have to take that to the ATM. And then there's also these vaults you can get, which have a lot of money. So you can get to a point where you have a ton of money on you because you got one of these vaults, you killed a bunch of people. Maybe one of the people you killed got a vault, and you got all of their money. And now you got to go get to one of these ATMs that open up like at random times, and you're not exactly sure where they're going to be. And you could be pretty far from one. And so you got to be able to be mobile and use your teammates and communicate to get back over there, get to safety. But I really got the hang of it and was really enjoying it. So pretty big fan of what I played so far. Now, my current test, Mike, for how I feel about an online multiplayer shooter is if I want to play it by myself. And I don't know if it's going to get over that hump, but I have a good time playing these games with other people for work or whatever, if we do a game night or something like that. And that's good enough for me these days. But it's not going to be like, oh, it's going to take over my life like some multiplayer shooters have in the past. A big part of that, it's like, oh, it's a 3-person squad, and I don't want to be like necessarily talking to people these days. So talking to strangers anyhow.
Well, I would never, that's the thing. Like, I would never do that. But I have 2 brothers. We're looking for games to play. I already told them to go download this. I think this could be a good fit. I'm excited to try it.
And then the other game I played is Ultros. Mike, are you aware of what Ultros is?
Yeah, Ultros is that giant squid boss from Final Fantasy VI. It's also the name of my server in Final Fantasy 14.
That's right. Ultros is that Metroidvania that looks like a black light poster from Spencer's Gifts.
Got into Spencer's yesterday.
This thing got announced a few months back. I got an early preview build of it, and it is a real cool. I mean, I'll just say it. I know it's overused. It's a vibe. You exist in this world, and it's like kind of animated like Hollow Knight in a lot of ways, but it's just...
Oh, so it looks like a Newsground Flash animation.
A little bit. But it's like so colorful, and the worlds are so like, oh man, that's kind of weird what's happening in the background there. Like, oh, that'd be cool to look at while you're high. Like that sort of stuff. But it's really good art, so they pull it off. And then it's got a really cool soundtrack to go along with it that really brings you into the world. And if you ever go idle, the camera like zooms in and sort of breathes on your character, and your character animates in a very subtle way. And it just feels alive in a lot of ways. And it feels really good. And it's got a cool upgrade tree where I unlocked not a double jump, but like this air double kick that sort of like hovers you in the air for an extra second. And the double kick like is very powerful. So it's like you do one kick, and then your character immediately does another kick that sort of lunges you forward just a little bit. And so you feel like, oh man, I'm like hovering in air doing these powerful moves. And then, you know, you do get a double jump by finding an item in the world, like a Metroidvania. I was super into it. I also played this in my MetaQuest 3 using the Steam Link like app, so I could just have it be on a big screen in front of me, and the resolution's so good in the MetaQuest 3 that it's like totally just felt like a big HD screen, and that was pretty neat as well. So it's all encompassing to have this vibe overtake my vision, and I was super into it. So big fan of Ultra so far. Can't wait. I think that game's coming out early next year, so people should look forward to that.
Yeah, okay, interesting. And I think I didn't get to play it as much as I want, but we've both been playing a bit of the Avatar game, and I'm pretty happy, Jeff. That is exactly what I think it needs to be. And I think the sentiment is generally like, hey, yeah, this is just a better version of Far Cry, actually.
Yeah, I think it's an improvement on. I would not want to be playing Far Cry. I think this does enough things and interesting, and I like the environment. I like the characters, or the implication of the characters so far, that I'm really happy with it. So yeah, going to be playing a lot more of that this weekend. That's the plan. It doesn't run great on the handheld devices, so I'll be setting it up to stream, and I'll be doing it that way. Looking forward to that.
All right, we do have a couple more super chats.
Hit me with them
before we call it here. From the Uncharted Wolf says, "Great list. Can't wait for you to screw up 2010." Yeah, what?
Give it time.
What even would be in 2010? Like that's like when you say 2009 to me, I'm immediately like, that's the Uncharted 2 year. 2010, I have to like think a little bit. It's not quite
no
the
memory.
Skyrim year. We're one away from the Skyrim year.
Is it like Mario Galaxy 2 and God of War 3 and Mass Effect 2 and Red Dead Redemption and StarCraft? Well, it's the stuff.
Yeah, you're on Wikipedia. I see now. Okay, yeah, there's quite a few games here. Okay, it's gonna be interesting.
Alan Wake.
I like Alan Wake 1 actually.
There you go.
Okay, interesting. And then Elgrog asks, "Is Jeff looking at Mike or the Red Wings?" Okay, Jeff, how's your hockey team doing?
They lost. It's a close games, 2-1. But oh well. Next time.
What are you gonna do, Jeff? Maybe they'll win another day.
That doesn't seem likely. If they lose now, that means they lost forever. At least that's what my heart tells me. Mike, I'm gonna hit this button to get us out of here. We good?
Let's do it. We're done here. We did it. Good podcasting, everybody. Let's see. Next week, not quite Christmas time. We're still doing shows next week, right, Jeff?
Yeah, we're gonna do shows next week. Yes.
Yeah, the week after that is like the 26th, maybe no Nintendogs on Boxing Day. 28th, we could probably still do Game SSIs.
Yep.
Columbros, maybe Columbros. I don't know.
We'll do Columbros next week. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, we'll do Columbos on Tuesday.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah,
look out for that,
so we'll do
everybody.
that.
So well, plenty going on. And then over at Giant Bomb, we got some stuff. I was gonna here. Where did I put it? We're gonna have a talk over this Toys R Us VHS I got for Star Fox 64.
God, I had that one. Hell yeah.
So I got a VCR here, and I can hook that up to OBS.
Let's do it.
And I figure we'll put that out as content over the holidays. No promises, because like Dan's out of town right now, so I haven't been able to confirm. Maybe we could sneak a demo derby in before the end of the year.
That'd be fun.
I think that'd be a good one to try to put out over the houlidays as well. But again, no promises. We'll see. It'll depend on what we're able to pull off. It's going to be a short week next week as well, so that's going to be troublesome.
The new Blight Club, Jeff, Ride to Jeff Tribution, whatever. Ride to Grubb, Jeff Tribution.
There it is.
Was very exciting stuff. Boy, that video game, that is insane. So
yeah, it's you have pointed out, but like I've lost the taste for the bits, because it's like I just got to get through this, man. It is the worst it's ever been, and that was true last time too. So it's like every time I play it, it becomes like even more the worst game I've ever played in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's rough stuff. Yeah, I don't know anything else.
What's tomorrow? We're doing the best music, right?
We're gonna have Bombcast for Vengeance. We'll talk about best music of the year. Sean's gonna be helping a ton with that. He's already done a ton of work on that.
I'm basically hanging it up.
He is, yes. So thank you, Sean, for helping us out with that. And then, we'll do Lethal Company for UPF. Looking forward to that.
Oh.
All right. I'm not doing that, am I? Because I don't have that game.
Yeah, probably not.
Get it.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Bye. Jeff. Let's do each other here.
Okay.
All right, Jeff. Let's do each other here.
Okay.
We're coming.